this international fair that has been ongoing for almost 25 years. First started in 1995 as a biannual event, and over the last few years as a yearly event, has come to demonstrate the industry's commitment to making sure that books are significant in a country where the usual refrain is that we don't buy books, we don't read. So as a publishing fraternity, we have a strong desire to maintain that presence every year, at least to demonstrate how important books are for our country. It also testifies to Ghana's growth as a liberal, democratic, multicultural, and secular society, where competing ideas, knowledge, and ideologies are afforded equal space without any hindrance. These ideals constitute the very essence of our beloved nation, and we must do everything possible to preserve, protect, promote, and to nurture these. Ghana's demonstrated pluralism over the years in our social, cultural, linguistic, and religious life is a great strength and a source of great inspiration. We must continue to be uncompromising in rejecting intolerance, prejudice, and hatred. Book fairs such as this should remind us that our history and traditions have always been celebrated by the argumentative Ghanaian and not the intolerant Ghanaian. Multiple views, thoughts, and philosophies have competed peacefully for the years in our country, and freedom of speech is one of the most fundamental rights guaranteed by our Constitution. Our freedom to publish a wide variety of genres and on all topics unhindered is a strong demonstration of the commitment of our country and also to our Constitution. Our appearance recently at the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education with the comments on the Ghana Book Development Council's new bill before Parliament was to make sure that these freedoms are not unwittingly infringed upon. The Ghana International Book Fair has played the twin role of being a cultural as well as a business hub for both national and international publishers interested in doing business in the region. This year's book fair is taking place against the backdrop of seismic changes in the education sector, with the introduction of a completely new curriculum. The review of the curriculum undertaken by the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment is supposed to respond to the national priority of shifting the structure and content of our educational system from merely passing examinations to building character, nurturing values, encouraging creativity, and raising literate, confident, and engaged citizens who can think critically. It is also aimed at addressing the inherent challenges in the curriculum and to ensure that the content of the national curriculum is not only internationally benchmarked, but helps our students to develop the 21st century skills that is needed to succeed in the information age that we live in now. Its aim is to encourage critical and creative thinking and the acquisition of information literacy skills, media literacy, and technological literacy, as well as sharpening the collaborative skills for a world where a lot is now being achieved by working in teams and having the ability to communicate across cultures. None of these is ever possible without a strong indigenous publishing industry to undergird these changes within our textbooks and supplementary resources needed for classrooms across the country. Our publishers have welcomed these changes and are working assiduously to meet the challenge of providing the country with published materials in all formats for education and also for cultural enrichment. This book fair reminds us yearly about the major problem of illiteracy and poor reading habits that confront us. And I think the country director alluded to that fact. It is crucial that we do all we can to create a culture of reading, not only in schools, but also in our communities. A wholly literate population provides the surest means available for the establishment of a truly democratic society within a stable and functional environment. Unfortunately, many Ghanaian children are still leaving school functionally illiterate, in spite of the numerous attempts to change the status quo. So there are 15-year-olds who leave school altogether or enter secondary education with reading abilities of an 8-year-old and sometimes even under. This is most unfortunate. The literacy problem does not just end there. There are many, many people, some older, who are functionally illiterate. By that I mean that they are unable to function adequately in the modern information and digital world due to their underdeveloped reading and writing skills. This may unfortunately include many people who claim to have received some education and even higher education. Less than well known, and I want to hammer on this, and even more alarming are the many who are considered as illiterate. That means that they are able to read, but they won't read, and they don't read. No compulsion to read at all. They may drive nice in the nice cars, wear ties, nice ties like I have on, and coats, and whatever it is. But they do not remember the last time they bought or read a book for enjoyment since they last used one to pass an exam. Unfortunately, and the sad part of it is that they pass on this habit to their children, who also grew up not having formed the habit of reading for pleasure. Reading does not only enrich knowledge, but helps us to connect socially. As some have accurately said, a reading nation is a winning nation. Books carry the wisdom of generations and help widen views, encourage imagination, and expand mental horizons. The theme for this year's book fair, reaching the world through effective book distribution network, is most exciting, considering our cherished aim of making Ghana or Ghanaian books a non-traditional export. Do you want me to repeat that? I said our cherished aim as an industry is to make the Ghanaian publishing industry a non-traditional export. We can export our books. According to the International Publishers Association, looking at the global publishing statistics, readers around the world spent a whopping 114 billion. They spend 114 billion every year on books. This amount includes not just printed and digital editions of various kinds of trade books like fiction, non-fiction, children's books, but also all kinds of educational materials as well as professional and scientific publications. The consumption is in many places, and the availability of books is far from even across the 200 countries worldwide. With a combined value of about 70 billion, the 6 largest book markets, the United States, China, Germany, Japan, France, and Great Britain, account for over 60% of the global spending on books. Unfortunately, Sub-Saharan Africa probably represents less than 2%. Therefore, the Ghana publishing industry has an amazing opportunity to take advantage of our unique geographical and geopolitical position to expand our activities beyond our national frontiers. It is not by accident, for instance, the decision to have the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area in Accra, beating off very stiff competition from Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Madagascar, and Senegal at the 12th Africa Union Extraordinary Summit in Niamey. Just a few months ago. Ghana apparently has committed about $10 million for the setting up of the Secretariat. The core mandate of the Secretariat is to implement the African Continental Free Trade Area, which has been since ratified by 25 states. I am hopeful that our industry will be one of the first beneficiaries of this most important treaty. I thought our publishers were going to clap, but it's as if we didn't hear that. there's a, please, this will be probably the last time I'll be speaking on this podium like this, because I mean our tenure comes to an end. So please give me some latitude to just speak whatsoever. There's a growing perception that with the global access to the internet and other communication facilities, the book industry was going to suffer irreparable damage, and the book, as we know it, was going to take a back seat in our cultural and social life. I disagree with this view. The digital may have had a temporary influence, and the nature of the industry is undergoing very drastic change. However, the need for creating good content for reading by society will continue. I believe that the habit of reading, either in digital formats or future formats that may come, and printed materials, is inherent in the human civilization. No technological advancement will replace that need to develop content. Therefore, there will be a place for the development of content. However, the industry changes. For a developing country like Ghana, which has diverse needs and aspirations, printed books and digital media must be seen as complementary and not rival for each other. I therefore appeal to parents and teachers to expose our children to both worlds as we try to inculcate in them the crucial habit of reading in their formative years. To our adults, let me add that no other habit is as life-transforming as reading. So no matter our station in life, we still read. No human society can develop in any of its dimensions if it does not capture our own stories and does not produce meaningful literature for its own people. I call upon the government and industry players to do their utmost best to promote this book industry. Our industry is not only catalytic to national development, we are critical in erecting the two key pillars for building an enduring country or nation: education and culture. Books are cultural products that speak of our collective knowledge and heritage, and are the best ways of expressing who we truly are and the things that we stand for. And an industry that projects that needs to be intentionally nurtured